think that, especially from what I understand, when he first started writing, he would do his thing on the stage, and he would complete his little Joe character, and then he would go hang out in the editing rooms and talk to the editors, and he really took his time. And it's one thing he did with me is he took me aside and he kind of told me that, because he was close to my age when Bonanza started, and he told me about how he went and he tried to learn different aspects of the industry, and that was something that he'd always wanted to do. So when it came time for him to, start writing, it was like natural. And I believe he's really gifted. I think he's pretty much a genius in some ways. I really was impressed with him. He would just, the way he would direct, you could just look at his face. At least I had worked with him for a while, so maybe I had a little advantage there. But he wouldn't have to say a lot. He would just maybe say a few words, and it was quick and to the point, and you knew exactly what he wanted, and he knew exactly what he wanted. That was another thing, as far as, there are some directors that are kind of feeling their way through as they're filming and figuring how many shots. Well, he had it down to where when he came to the set, he already knew how many close-ups and what kind of shots he was going to take where or when. And so much so that, like, if there was a problem with the set, he would say, well, don't worry about that wall because I'm not going to use that. This is a shot that I'm going to take there, so we don't need to spend time doing that. He'd do things like that. But, and I just like his style of writing. It's just very emotional, and I think it really strikes a chord with, families and I think people's emotions. I think he was able to, out of his shows that he wrote, I believe it really touched people's emotions. He was part of Bonanza since he was like 18 or 19, and I think that he had a real love for it, and so I believe that just came to him naturally because he was interested in it, and I believe he had a deep love for it, and he just kind of, grew into what he did over the years by getting involved. And I wish I could remember the story about when he finally wrote his first show, but I know he made some kind of deal with the producers. I don't remember exactly what it is, but they let him write a script, and I remember them saying that they were blown away at how good the script was. Another thing that was interesting about him directing is he trusted his assistant director and a couple other crew members, so much so that when his character was in the show that he had written and he's directing it, he would really, back then they didn't have the instant replay like they do nowadays. So he would finish a scene, and then he would go over and talk to his assistant director, and a couple other people, the producers sometimes would be there, and he would trust if they would say, well, Mike, I think you can maybe do it a little different, and they would tell him about it, and he'd go, okay, and then he'd try that. But once they said that it was good, then he trusted them and he moved on. So he wasn't just all self-centered and thinking that, I'm directing, so I'm going to do this my way. He was very much interested in getting feedback from the people around him when he was in front of the camera. So I thought that was interesting.